this is information that I don't really care about, but it's important for YouTube creators to be informed of this fact that there are campaigns of false flagging against people, especially on the right. Now, you might be surprised because actually this bot network seems interested in the right wing. But the goal of this bot network, which I've exposed on Twitter earlier today, is to actually lead to extremization of the right wing. So they are essentially taking figures that are already right wing, but they are pushing them to be more extreme in their statement. How do they do that? By liking some videos and disliking others. And that some people have been asking questions. So before I reveal the facts, I will be answering some of the chat's question. Someone on the chat says, "Jeff, why do you do this?" Well, I do this because you want to build a durable movement or community under false pretense. And these things are not sustainable in the long term. If there are people lying in the right wing, I will call them out. I still consider myself a right winger, but not to the point where I'm willing to sacrifice the search for the truth. So these tactics, the kind of tactics that I'm about to show you, are dishonorable and they need to be called out. And there's not going to be an evolution for the right wing as long as it deceives itself with that kind of fake information. So what I'm showing you is evidence that there are people coordinating multiple YouTube accounts, and they are doing so to comment on some videos, comment in live streams. They are also disliking. They also seem involved in Reddit as well as Twitter activities. For example, I did the first tweet revealing my information today, and the first tweet got labeled for offensive speech. And so I really I sifted through the images that I was releasing, and I blacked out any sort of use of any sort of impolite words. I didn't think that it would get flagged for offensive content, but it did. Probably again by people who are interested in this affair, in the sense that their dishonest activities will be revealed. So another thing that people ask me is, Jeff, what you're revealing seems like it could be people bragging. Well, to that I say yes. Of course, I expect if there's a bunch of little teenage hacker on Discord coordinating to do the kind of dishonest thing I'm about to release, I don't expect everything they say to be the truth. And so if he brags about having 20,000 Twitter accounts, I don't necessarily believe that he has 20,000 Twitter accounts. That doesn't change the fact that these people are coordinating some number of accounts, and they are coordinating together to extremize discourse on the internet. Another thing that people have said to me this morning is, Jeff, you're trying to show this in order to deny the fact that there are real humans disliking your last video because they disagree with you. Well, no, I'm not denying that there are real humans involved in disliking. What I'm saying is that there are some people coordinating to make the appearance worse. I mean, as long as there's someone disagreeing with me for real and telling me his argument, these are not the kind of thing that are bothering me. I like argumentations on the public space. However, when you see these extremist comments on the chat, keep in mind that not everyone around you is on your side. There are people who are working in the background to make you look worse. And now we've found another nuclei of them. A bunch of people with very questionable political interest who are acting to make the alt-right worse than it is, make it appear worse than it is. And it's very important you pay attention to what I'm about to reveal, especially if you're a YouTuber or if you are engaged in live stream chats. Know that there are people around you that pose as being on your side, but they're not. So let's review some of the comments that have been screenshotted from Discord conversation. Now, most of the malicious activity that is revealed by these pictures, by these screenshots, come from a guy named Microchip, who I don't know about, and I'm not telling you you should believe him, but I'm telling you there is evidence that Microchip has been coordinating armies of bots as well as other human beings to mass flag, mass dislike, and also not just negative stuff, also positive stuff. And that's the thing you need to be worried if you are a YouTube creator. These kind of bot armies, they will not only dislike, they will like some other stuff. They will give you false audience numbers on some of your videos. So be very careful. Now, one thing I noticed, because I've been targeted by this bot group for about a week now, but I'm actually aware of its existence since since at the beginning of Warski Live. This bot group has been active way before this week. And it may be that some of my audience numbers are being falsified by these bot groups. Now, do I think that they can add like 10,000 views to a video? I don't think so. But I think that based on my feel of the situation, they can easily add maybe up to 1,000 views on a video and potentially up to 1,000 dislike if we want to be conservative in the evaluation. So some of the discussions that reveal that there is such activities. Kush Karn says, JF turned on his fans. Oh my god. Let's beep his life, guys. And someone else says, oof, everyone is welcome. No one is perfect. So essentially these guys are watching my shows and they're like, oh, JF said something that's too inclusive. Let's ruin his life. So these two seem to be normal Discord users. They don't seem to be directing armies of bots. However, have a look at what Microchip says. He says, we have to give them more time to dig in, then go all in. Oh, I will do it. And then someone else asks, who here can get me in contact with Weave? And Microchip says, Zoom is Weave. So I don't know about this information. Personally, I'm not reporting these chats for you to believe them. So that was the upper discussion here, and that was the second one I read. I'm not saying you should believe everything in these chats. I'm saying these are traces that demonstrate that there is coordination of this liking campaign. That's all I want to show you today. So another discussion. Sarah says, I already do have multiple YouTube accounts, lol. And then Microchip says, you have YouTube accounts, then you know what to do. And she says, this is all too gay for me. So here you have Microchip trying to get other human beings into his mass flagging campaign. Now there's also mass reporting going on. So here you have, for example, Microchip saying, report it all, everyone and everything. Dump more gas on the fire. And Microchip later says, flag. So these people are coordinating flagging campaign on Discord. When they don't like what's happening, they try to silence us. Now Microchip, also in a separate conversation, he says, probably never. I'm really good at this. Just wait until I dump 20,000 bots on Twitter in a few days. and really beep things up. So this guy is bragging about having the ability of 20,000 Twitter bots. Do I believe that? No. But do I believe he's trying? Do I believe he has some bots? Well, certainly. 20,000 Twitter bots is a lot. Based on what I've seen, my experience of Twitter conversation, I don't think that there are 20,000 coordinated trolls on Twitter, but there may be a few. There may be up to 100 that I've personally found their interaction with me to be quite unnatural and to seem coordinated. Now, these are the kind of people I block, so I cannot have a massive adoration of the whole ecosystem of Twitter bots, but does it exist? Yes. And there is now evidence that Microchip has been participating to this. Now, Microchip also cites a mainstream media article from BuzzFeed, and he says soon. And the article is describing fake bots participation to the Trump campaign. So essentially, he's bragging either that it was him or that he wants to emulate that kind of behavior. So Moonman says he does it for free. And Microchip says, time to take out the trash again. So what can we conclude based on all these conversations? Well, there are people like Microchip who work in the background and who whenever they hear something that is not extremist enough to their taste, they just dislike the video. They ask people around them to dislike the video, and these people are bragging that they have bots and multiple YouTube accounts. So I've been familiar with this phenomenon for a while, but I thought it was just fair for me to reveal what I knew about this because people have been accusing me of being a conspiracy theorist, and I don't like stating stuff without support. And so there you go, you have my support, and that's what I know about these activities. So when I tell you that I'm not going to listen to the dislike ratios for a few weeks, it's because I know that these people are there to falsify the interaction between me and the audience. And it's a matter of honesty and of truth for me to be able to interact really with my true audience, not a bunch of political extremists who are interested in manipulating me like a puppet. So I will not fall for that kind of trick. Now, some people on the chat says JF is delusional. Well, there's nothing delusional in what I've said, what I've shown. I've shown you the phenomenon. I've shown you the data that we have. These people exist. They are lying to me, they are lying to you, and they're creating a false impression on YouTube that certain political statements are favorable, that certain YouTubers are rising or falling. And so these networks, they work for lying to you and for misrepresenting the truth. Now you should ask yourself, what's the allegiance of these people? What's the allegiance of Microchip? What's the allegiance of these people who every time they hear some word that is not extreme enough to them, they say we need to ruin his life? What's their religion? What's their political belief? You should ask yourself these questions. And no, I will not remain silent, and I will not be afraid of being accused of being a paranoid person, because I find that there is solid evidence to believe that these people are active right now on my YouTube channel. And I need to warn other YouTube creators, don't fall for it. Just know what you do, know what's your core audience, interact with them, and believe human interactions. Believe people who can be on the chat and answer to you honestly. that's I've never fell for these, but I've known they've existed for many months. And so don't let yourself be fooled by the push from this part of your audience. They are not true people.